Though my path didn't really work. Let's look at actual path, right? So let's open a new one. First, let's actually close this one.
I'm just getting ready to run a sync of 7.4 terabytes of data.
Oh, you know what I'm doing? In the background, I'm actually copying stuff to my new hard drive. Check the size of this one. That's nice. So I can have all of my stuff in one place and take backup of what's important, you know? So I haven't been able to record my own streams for a long time, right? And now I can again. Because it takes so much space. And if I want to, for example, record my camera separate. Yeah, I understand. But automating is fun there. You can always automate it. You know, the RoboCopy scripts I've been running during nights for work long ago. It's actually, it used to be the best. I think it might still be kind of good. It's like if you want permissions, how to act on different if X files are different ages and stuff, you know.
This is copying from a live server to a test server, so I can run some tests on it without breaking live service.
Okay, so it's just waiting for the copy. You can't just have lunch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really happy I found this one. Nice. Though we still have to like explore all the tools, but we did find this list here, so
yeah, I can just have lunch and also watch Twitch.
yeah, or maybe it's just a good reason not to have to do other work while you're watching Twitch. I'm waiting for this copy. I have to sit here. I have to do some other stuff not to get too bored, right? So this was the today's box here.
Very true.
So should I click the X instead of typing exit 4 times? So all new one, all others are closed. So OLED and Pi. So let's look at path. There. By the way, yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think of that. There's a lowercase path too. I was mostly surprised that I got a result. I don't think I know enough about Linux apparently. But we don't have it there, right? So I failed adding stuff to the path permanently. I did export, but I would have need something else. Let's add to Linux path permanently. Look here. See.
I add the export too. Profile on my home dir.
Yeah. But isn't there a command to do it? I think I've done that before. Well, we could always, you know, this isn't a command. This is adding it to the profile. Yeah, I guess I should have copied, but it's still in the history, the export command, so I guess we'll just put it. Also, do you know how to increase the history? Because I've been thinking about doing that. I know it's in there. I'm just thinking of the best way. I would like to really have an infinite history. I don't want anything to disappear. I want to have all my history. And it keeps overriding. So when I'm like, oh, I use this command, it's just gone, you know? If you happen to like paste some output into your history, it's just gone. I think it's 1,000 by default. So let's look into that. As we're still by the way, first let's get my command. Yeah, so the history, we want the history. Yeah, and this was so nice because I didn't type this, you know. What I did was I typed the $path $opt D, and then I tabbed to get the name expansion. Then it expanded the variable path. And then I tabbed again and it expanded up to your Steven suits. So I'm so happy with the seashell. I'm really happy. I love it. His file size. Yeah. But you still have to set a number. I want like the infinity symbol there. Let's copy this. So we have this ready. -1. Because I was Googling it before, not today, long ago. And I think I got like, this is a complex thing, you should probably not do this, you know? Whatever. If it's just -1, I don't want it to delete my history. By the way, so I have backups of my history. So probably should make a new one before I play with it, in case I were having to set it to nothing. So we also have a bash history. So let's cp.c. Oh, there. There, 2.c. History, and the others are call underscore. Oops. 2024. Do I know today's date? It's 11 still, right? So I only slept for like 5 hours. So it was the 11th yesterday too. So I had to get my kids up, and I was watching a stream yesterday and doing some stuff. So I actually put some stuff on YouTube. Let's see if it's uploaded, because it's kind of nice to use time, as this is just file copying, right? So day 1, 2, and 3 on the YouTube, and then I'm exporting the normal streams before they like die. So the last one I did, making it simple cybersecurity. So this one, There are similar names, just one double check. So this is the next one. Let's just export this one. You can work on it. It takes so much time. But this is a short one, right? Yeah, it's a short stream. So, So of course I shouldn't use expanded version. Should I just add the normal command, right? But let's do this first. I remember the date correctly. So we have a backup of my history before I mess it up, if I do. So, what files are actually used now? So let's actually do ChatGPT again. Because I don't feel confident enough to know exactly what files are used when I'm using different shells and which are not used. What file would I add? A path export to make it work for all my shells. I'm shells. Let's just do any Kali. Right? I don't want it just to work for C shell or bash or whatever. So ets profile. Yeah, so bash profile is.
Yeah, there are so many places you can add it.
Yeah.
Bash profile.
Yeah.
Profile. And summon slash etc. too.
Yeah, ets profile and home profile. So we definitely don't want bash profile. It's like, you know, mumbling a bit here. System-wide for all users. That's probably where I want it, really, because this is a path for tools, and I might want it as root, right? So this one is probably for ets profile. I think we can trust it on this basic, even if it's saying this here. If you're using multiple shell types, also up to appropriate. Yeah, so so the profile and ets profile are probably so. Also, don't mention shell specific files, only general ones. Oh, we got a Swedish ä in there. Also, I misspelled mention, it will understand. So let's zoom in first. This is what we want. And now let's also I want to set my history, the history for all users to well, I don't care about how I formulate this, right? I will understand. To infinite. If or very high.
Fixerbot says.
Thanks for the follow. Lala, welcome in. So, yeah. Following line for system-wide settings. Yeah, so we want system-wide settings. And then it's going back. It doesn't remember this. This change will apply to all users. Yeah, so no infinite option. So you said -1, we'll try it. And if it's nothing, there's no true infinite option, but you can approximate, such as in Money Shell. However, this could lead to performance or disk space issues.
Is 1 for number of lines, and 1 for size of the file in bytes or something?
Yeah, let's ask this. What's the difference between hist size and hist file size? Please define. The number of commands stored in the in-memory command history for the current shell session. Once the shell is closed, commands exceeding the size are discarded. Specifies the maximum number of commands stored in the history file. So this doesn't have anything to do with the history file. So more commands on this will not be stored in the history file, I'm assuming then. So if you were to like paste by mistake 1,000,000 lines into your command prompt, it wouldn't be put in the history. That kind of thing, maybe? So maybe this one should have like a limit. As long as you're not never closing down your terminal. So hist file size is a file, and this is the in-memory storage. And our free plan limit was reached. So let's just... It will get a lot dumber at this stage. And have more errors, so... But we're probably done with that. So the question is, should we try the -1, right? So we have like a bit less than an hour left. So this seems too little, but I guess it's a lot. So it kind of confirmed what I thought I knew, which also means I don't feel I need to double check it, right? Because otherwise I might have Googled too, since it's a kind of big thing to do. So we have dot profile. We're not changing C profile or batch because I don't want them to. We're instead going to etc, and I don't think we'll isolate everything, but we can do P star, right? I definitely failed. P star size customize. There's possibly nothing, but I think it's mostly that I failed for some reason. So here we have a profile. So let's just nano profile and see what it looks like. System-wide dot profile. Here we also have a confirmation, but here it says for the Bourne shell, right? And that's not really what we want. So This is for born shell. But I'm thinking, yeah, born compatible shells. So we also have... let's assume that this also works for a seashell. I'm assuming it's compatible, because it is, right? So, if IDU else... And I'm kind of thinking, instead of adding here, let's add like a... This is our added stuff section. But let's look for... I don't know how to search in this, if they're even... the history would still... If we set values for the history here, they would be overridden, right? So we couldn't do that. But we could set a path here. So path is possible here. And do I still have it in my paste? Yeah, but it's not the version we want. Let's instead do path, because we want this to be able to change. We don't want to set this for all the things to only be this and to be this. So some of that was probably not added in this file anyway.
My channel got bot followed the other day by over 300 accounts. Now today it's gone back down by 18 follows.
Oh, okay. So maybe those accounts were removed then, the 18. So is that good or bad? That's the question, right? So follows are nice, but bot follows...
Twitch are probably banning them, yeah.
Yeah, so what do you think of it? Was it good or bad?
Yeah, it's good, I think. No need to have bot follows.
Yeah, I mean, good that they were... Is it good or bad that they're following? It's good that they're being banned, of course. That's good. I need to eat some stuff here too. I got a salad that we got with the pizza. One of these. But I might actually not eat more than I might just eat a salad, and then I might get some sushi when my kid's in school or something. I'm not still up.
Chocolate for breakfast. I'll get some sarnies soon.
Okay, yeah. So I'm not really up for running or anything yet. My shoulder is still not perfect, so that's really why I should eat a lot, right? Because I should take those anti-inflammatory pills for my shoulder inflammation. So we have export path. Oh my god, that wouldn't work well. Let's add path too. So we're taking the current path, which was just up there, and we're adding this directory to the path. And then we're exporting it too. So it will be in all of them. And while we're here, right, let's just check what we're actually doing. So, profile D. Yeah, let's just... I'm curious about the orders the files are run in. But this should be first, right?
Maybe
games and
part
stuff.
after the equals, in case any paths have a space in them, which they shouldn't.
Oh, right. What do you mean here?
Like it is at the top of the file. Yeah, there.
So have this like that. Yeah, because the equals, if there was a path, it wouldn't work. If it was a space, it wouldn't work. But this is what is there, so it shouldn't be a space. But it's a nice thing to add.
Shouldn't smile, smile.
Shouldn't. Yeah. You never know what programs do when they install stuff, right? That you approve. So I pasted the path. It should be the right name of the directory. And what? I did Control S. Permission denied. Alright. Okay. So I always Control SX when I exit Nano, so I'm not getting any questions, So
we updated Python on a few VMS yesterday, and Yum removed the symlink between /user/bin/python and /user/bin/python2. So yeah, you never know what things happen.
Oh yeah. But if it sent it to Python 3 instead, that's what I have. Or that's what Kali has, actually. So we'll need to sudo this, of course. So I don't know why I didn't do that.
Yeah, we use v2 still for some things.
Yeah, but it's like the normal thing now is 3. I mean, so you can type add 2, but I guess for things they don't know about 3, they will say Python, right? Well, it's a hard choice. So let's add the line back in. There. Now we Control SX and it works. And let's go back to home. There. So it's just me. Didn't I click it already? No. Apparently not. So we have the profile. So let's nano the profile. And let's look here. This file is not read by bash if bash profile or bash login exists. So I don't think I have a bash profile, no. But I have a C profile. So C is that's the most important one for me. The history, right? So most thing I do in C shell. So let's just check. This doesn't contain anything of this. So let's check the C profile. And
200 gig of the 7 TB copied.
Oh gosh, that's slow. What are you doing? That's slow. Well, I guess it's not that slow. Let's see how mine is doing. So mine is 73%. Yeah, but this is probably tiny files too. Though currently it's doing streams. So this is while I could still record the streams, 2024. Yeah, this is before I started uploading to YouTube too. So these are the only copies I have. Now YouTube is my backup. That's why I'm doing the uploads to YouTube. That's the primary reason. Then people started watching them too. So, yeah. So, old downloads.
What is it you're doing with those files?
Backups. I'm just putting
them to another HT.
Yeah. So just to another hard drive. This is my new 20 terabyte hard drive. So it's not, it doesn't have any RAID or anything, but it's, I'll take backup of the stuff, and I'm copying, I'm not moving stuff there, because it was sent to me in a tight cardboard box, and I'm like, do I trust the post office? So let's copy a lot of stuff there, let's use some files, let's test stuff, but do I still can't trust it? I don't know. Run some tests on the drive later when it's actually being used. Kind of fill it up with data first. See if it can do stuff still. I think you should be kind of starting right now. It's an let's see, Exos. That's a Seagate Exos 20 terabyte X20. So I was choosing between this one and a 16 terabyte drive that had data recovery, like insurance in it, warranty. So I was like, well, it's not like I'm not gonna use this drive for more than, what was the warranty, 5 years anyway. So if it breaks at the start, I'm assuming that they'll still at least give me a new drive. Anyway, it's nice to not have to feel like this. Let's open this, and you'll see why. This is a new one. It's already starting to fill up. So yesterday I copied the contents of this one here, and now we're doing the next one. So one of them is not red. We also have spare drives for our, this is a RAID 5, the QNAP. So we should put those new, bigger drives in. Oh my god, sorry. Yeah. There's a command, right, for switching screens? I think so. Sorry. Yeah, so it's so much red here. This is why. Yeah. Anyway. So my C drive was 14 gigs. There's 5 gigs here. Yeah. I needed a new hard drive. I needed it. Let's say I needed it, right? Local bin. My Pipex, okay. So this means I don't have a profile that overwrites the main one. In which file is usually set, and what's the default values? Let's see if it can still answer stuff. Following files. Bash RC. So, what about where is the default? Like in Kali. I don't think my history is 2000. I think it's just 1000. It's so tiny. Maybe it's 2000. We can check. Yeah, it's 1,000. Yeah, I agree with this. See, let's check these files, right? So, though we have a C profile, not I don't think we have a C, maybe we have a CSH or C. We do. So, we didn't check bash RC either. Let's check this one. Well, it was still there. So it's much easier than to cat it.
Just checked my history on my laptop. 11,861 lines.
Oh
Started
gosh.
On June 30th, 2023.
That's nice. That's nice. So mine, I just confirmed here with ChatGPT. So it said that this is 2,000, but Kali only have 1,000 lines history. So I don't know why. If that's supposed to be a security feature. But it's annoying. That's why we need to change it. So we're currently checking the local CSA RC file.
I don't remember upping it. Maybe it's default and Ubuntu to be bigger.
Hist file, hist size, save hist. So here we have a new one. Save hist too. History 0 to complete history. So all the paths combined, you know, there are so many. And this one was actually also added to the dot profile by pipex too. That was the only thing in there in the C profile. So that's even more confusing. That it's both files are for C shell, right? So the files are not created by Kali itself, but from, well, this was just added. The other file was only that in it, so yeah, let's actually have all the files up at the same time, right?
Arduku says, in Nano you can interact with Control+W.
Yeah, thanks. So let's see, we have, let's just go down there and let's open a new one. So we're comparing the different places to put history size, and they're also different variable names, right? So bash uses hist size and hist file size, while apparently C shell uses hist size and save hist that we just saw in the file too. So it's not like, I'm thinking I want to set this system wide, right? If I can. But if it's overridden in a file that's run later, like lower, I guess I'll just have to, we don't have to dig into this anymore. So I don't really care about the bash history, right? It's the C shell. I want this one that we already had up. So if we change this one, so I'll be so happy by just adding 1 0 here, right? So for this one, current session, right? Stored in memory for the session. We don't want more than 10,000 commands. Then we pasted a million something by mistake. So, but how many do we want in the saved history? Will -1 work, right? That was our test. We just saved the history just for this reason. So,
as long as you know who any other users that use the box, you'll be okay. If it was used by people you don't know what they do, you would probably want to limit it more, right?
Yeah, this is just me using root and the Kali, right? So I just wanted it for the root one too. So that was like all users. So let's just save this and see if it will kill our history. So let's just bye that and let's open a new one. And let's do history. And we still have history. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. And let's exit this and open a new one. And we still have history, but we don't have those.
Insufficient Brad says. Hello, good afternoon. Turon Slug says. My history includes the date and time. Smile, smile.
So I don't think anything has been added to the history. This is a test. Now history is in the history, and this is a test is in the history. And I'm closing this now. And we're opening a new one. And we're doing history, or rather just arrow up. You see, nothing is saved, so -1 seemed to have, like... It didn't empty the file, but it, like, broke the functionality. It's not putting anything there. So... The last thing we did, we know at least. So unfortunately...
With the X might be doing that.
I did exit last time.
Try doing it, but doing exit.
Yeah.
Brad says.
I did exit.
I haven't seen Linux in a while. Is that Debian distribution?
Yeah, it's Kali, so it's Debian.
Oh, okay.
So first I closed both windows with the X, and then I did exit, because exit is like what I always do. And also, you're always sure you close the right window then, right? So -1 didn't work. Let's try leaving it empty, right? What will leaving it empty do? So let's this is another test. Blah. I don't care what it is. Like, this is in our history. History. We can see we have that in our history. And also history is in the history, right? So let's exit it now. Let's click that. Let's do history. And I could see there it said history grep Python, right? So obviously it didn't work again. So we'll have to put a value. So what would be the maximum value? Let's ask ChatGPT. What would be the maximum value for save hist? So very large number, such as 1 million. Yeah, so I don't want to know this. I don't care about this. What is the maximum value? There are limitations. Variables, data. Well, let's just storage for this. Whatever, it will understand. I don't care about spelling it wrong. So, technically constrained by system limit, but there isn't a hard limit. Yeah, I don't care about the SSH limit. My god. It doesn't care what I say. I don't care about this. You shouldn't do this was specific enough. I should have said I don't care about the file size. I should have said.
16 TB of history. That would be nice. Smile, smile.
Yeah. Well, we do have 20 TB drives, so whatever, right? You could theoretically say so. Yeah. Let's do a crazy big one. Performance issues. Yeah. So how often does it use? So C shell uses the history when you just type, right? So we don't want it to be crazy long. So maybe we just do. So I've lived with 2000 for over a year.
Insufficient, Brad says. Fix it, but isn't history saved into a file? I know there is a parameter hist file.
Yeah, so the thing is that in C shell it's called save hist. But let's scroll up here. Bash has hist size and hist file size, and hist size is the history in the current shell in memory. That's the maximum for that, and this is the file size. But for we saw this in the file too. When I asked about C shell, let's see. Wherever it's save hist, the other variable, the second one, the file size. So it's just a variable name that's different. So I was just thinking, is there a maximum value? There doesn't seem to be one more than the physical limitations of memory and hard drive, right? So what do you think we should set it as? Is 1 million crazy much? Is 1 million crazy? It was kind of at the top, right? I should search, as you said. Here it is. So we tried putting nothing there on purpose. We tried -1. Just to see if we could set it to no limit, right? But it didn't work. We didn't get any history added when we had that. But also the history file was not deleted, which is also good to know. And we just added a 0 to this one. We don't want more than 10,000 in our current shell in memory, because if we happen to paste 1 million lines, we don't want that, right? Maybe even 1,000 is good. Let's do 5,000 or 3,000. So we don't type more than 3,000 lines before we make a new shell, right? So 10,000 is the 5 times what we have. 100,000 will last me a few months, definitely, right? If we put 1 million, then we might have to deal with slowing down. So I'm thinking it could handle 100,000 lines. I don't think I'll reach it, but what I've done before is actually to make a sort of the history and unique, so you don't have double entries, right? So you could actually though it's nice to have them in order too, but if you're getting it really big.
I asked CPT about that param, and they told me it takes integer value. So as I remember, int can get as much as 2,147,483,647. GPT.
It depends on what integer it is. And I'm thinking, as this is saved in the system as a system variable here. So it will have to fit in that, of course. But maybe it's text. If it's a text string, it can be like infinite. But then they will have to fit in whatever variable is loaded into when it's like in the system. And that's what I was trying to find out, but apparently I didn't have the right words here. I wasn't explaining it good enough for ChatGPT to find and understand. Yeah. But this one says that I could put it to 1 billion, right? So the value should be able to be more than 1 billion. Setting a few million is generally safe. Yeah, so I don't think I will ever get to 1 million. So I will probably reinstall my VM, right? At some point. Maybe I don't update for long enough and it crashes when you update it. That happens. And if it's a VM, you know, you don't have to mess around, you just install it. Let's do 100,000. You realize I had 2,000 here now before.
Yeah, chat is right until you tell it it's wrong. Then it's sorry and give you another answer. But how can you tell if that one is true? Smile, smile.
So we did test here with -1 and nothing, and that didn't work, right? So, but we generally double test stuff. So if history works after saving this now, and it keeps saving stuff again, so this is a test, right? Let's spell this correctly, as this will end up in the history. So I didn't spell it right. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did spell it right. It just didn't know that. So our history currently here is this, and let's exit the shell, and let's go back, and let's do history again, or rather arrow up. Yeah, so I think I broke it. History isn't saved again. I broke my poor computer. Oh. So it might not work with 100,000 either. It might be... So I did Google this before, as I said, when I started looking at this, and there seem to be more complicated steps involved. And this kind of points in that direction. We could just... Let's make it a tiny bit tinier, right? So if we just change it to, instead of 100,000, let's say 20,000, right? And let's just restart Kali and make sure that we have a working system again with history that actually saves. And we only did one more thing. We added it as profile, we added a path addition. So I export the path plus a new bit, which was a program installed. And that's how we ended up in this theme. So I have to remember that in 15 minutes I'm going to drive my kid to school. So let's just... There. What do you think? This means it remembers that we did history, meaning it added stuff. That's good. So it's adding stuff to history again. And I'm sure it still works if we do this. So another history should be put in the list, just to confirm with X as not saving history. So we have history. No, we don't. 1, 2, 3. History. There. And let's exit this time. And let's do this. And
what's your goal here?
history.
History in between terminal instances?
The goal is to increase the history size from 2,000 lines to currently then 20,000, but I want it like infinite really. And when we did 100,000, I'm not sure it worked. So now we're testing 20,000. It should be enough for a few months, right? But maybe for a few months, I don't know. So we were doing OLE DOM parent. Yeah, this is what we installed. It's kind of nice to be able to see what you would do in, right? And definitely, when you start typing a command in Kali, you want this to happen, right? And this is why we know also that it's always keeping track of the history. It's comparing to this. We don't want a million entries to compare it as soon as we type a character, right? So if I do this now, or I just by mistake click the right letter, so it always it's constantly comparing.
File wouldn't be a solution. You need just to read it or to have it boot up arrow key in the history on the terminal, right?
Yeah, it's nothing. We just want to configure the history setting, and we have it right here. So here in CSHRC, this is where the system has put it, and we can just change the value here. So, but when I put it higher, let's add a 0 here now. So I'm kind of good with 100,000 actually, because I don't think it will. We'll see. We'll see, right? So if I save that, and let's do 4, 5, 6, and exit, and let's open it again, and we go up. We have 4, 5, 6 in the history. We don't even have to run the history command. We can see that it works, right? Now let's do 7, 8, 9 just to test. Will it save history when we X? Because this is nice to know. I usually do exit, but it's not odd to do. It should save the history, right? Yeah, so we have 7, 8, 9 in there too. And history is working as it should. We don't have like a empty variable or -1, so now it's working. So I think we like achieve the goal, and hopefully let's do history by the way, because it would have thrown out 32 lines from here, right? That it hasn't. So we can see more history now. So I can see these lines would have been bye-byed, right? So
write a loop for 100,001 to test it. Smile, smile.
We could. But I don't think I will. I want my history still, right? Though I did save it before we started, just to make sure. So no. No, that's for directories. So no, it should work. I don't know. So no, it's because of its C. So .c. So there. I have my backups. So that's about the size of the files when we have 1,000. So imagine 100 times less than. We're still in reasonable amounts, right? That should be the maximum file size we get. Yeah. And of course, depending on the length of the lines, it could be a tiny bit bigger. Well, Should we do anything else? Or is it time for me to find someone to raid? There's really no one online. Oh! He just went online. It'll be morning there early.